Welcome or welcome back to another reading vlog. It is Saturday and today I am home alone, so I'm trying to finish one of the first cozy fantasy books I have read so far. Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. I'm slowly getting into the cozy fantasy genre and I'm loving it, honestly, something which I have never expected as I love fast-paced fantasy books. But I'm kinda burnt out by everything I've read the past year, especially romantasy, which is why I'm trying out new things in hopes of having a better reading year. It snowed a lot these past couple of days and it has been very grey and cold, but today the sun is coming out and motivates me to do some binge reading, which I have not done in a while. So grab a coffee or a tea and follow along. Hey, just a quick reading update. I have read roughly 20 pages now since I've started, which is not so much, but enough to talk a little more in depth about the book. Before starting this video, I was at around 100 pages or so. So I just got into the story, got to know the characters, and got to know their dynamic, basically, and it's been very charming so far already. Going into this book, I did not have any expectations at all, kinda. I don't even know why, possibly because I am just so very unfamiliar with this type of genre, because, you know, as I've stated before, the other and, well, first and only other cozy fantasy book that I've read so far is The Secret Society, or The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which is still kind of different from this one because, you know, it's more urban fantasy, and this here is like normal fantasy, I would now argue, and I just didn't know what to expect. I honestly thought I would think these books are a little too slow paced for some reason, which I don't think so at all. I think it was perfectly set up so far and it is very intriguing as well. So yeah, I'm just overall very happy and I really hope to finish this today, to just set off this year with like a good start. And I'm very positive about me just generally liking this book, which is good. As I've also been kind of burnt out by recent reads that I did not like so much, and I try currently to stay away a little bit from overhyped books. And I feel like this was not overhyped, but this was also very hyped and very beloved. And I'm just so very, careful with that now and with my expectations, just so I go into a book without setting the bar too high. And I think this works very perfectly right now, and it's also so cute, honestly. I keep looking at it. This book is about Emily Wilde and her writing her Encyclopaedia of Faeries. Just in broad summary, so she goes to this little town of, I really cannot pronounce it, Rasvik. Yeah, I will not try to butcher this again, but you know, she goes up north, I think, where it's very snowy and it's just like a tiny village, and she tries to find these, I think, hidden ones they're called, and tries to study them, which has no one really done so far. And I also think people don't believe that these type of fairies, I think, exist, and she wants to take the opportunity and write about them for her encyclopedia, which she has already started, and she thinks like writing about these hidden ones that have not been studied yet will just enhance it. And well, she goes there and stumbles upon, you know, hurdles that stop her from progressing, kind of, but she's still making, I would say she's still kind of progressing in the beginning, even though she stumbles upon these hurdles about, you know, this town folk is different from what she has expected, and you know, the place she lives in is a little isolated and it's so snowy and it's so cold, and she needs to deal with this by herself, kind of. And then at some point her academic rival Wendell Bumblebee comes to this place as well with, I think, 2 apprentices, and they kind of spice up the situation a little bit because he is, you know, very different from her, and she's more grounded, she's more reserved, and he's absolutely the opposite. And Bumblebee also reminds me so much of Hal from Howl's Moving Castle, which is so nice because I just love, you know, Ghibli, and seeing a character that is similar to him and also flamboyant, because I always really much enjoy flamboyant male characters a lot, and seeing just these two characters interact is just so nice and refreshing. They have this whole rivalry going on for their academic research things and come from the same university and all that stuff. So this is a really, really nice setup. It's basically, you know, not really enemies to lovers, but it's kind of not connected, but it's related to enemies to lovers for me at least, because, you know, rivals, and I suppose the series also rivals to lovers. He also like tickles out her little other personality traits, and she is less reserved with him because she's, you know, kind of annoyed with him, and I really like this as well. And like characters that, you know, get a little bit out of their shell because of their other, well, not just because of their love interest, but also because of other influences and stuff. And I think, you know, even though it's just 100 pages that I've read so far, or like 120, I've already seen so many different aspects to Emily's personality, which is really wholesome. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I will go on for a little bit now. I think this book has like 300 something pages. Let me see. Yeah, around 315 pages actually. So it's, I think, even though I'm a very small reader, I'm a very slow reader, it's very likely or even realistic that I could manage to finish it today. Let's see the time. It's roughly 1 now. Also have to take in consideration that it gets dark here very quick at like 3:30 by now, because, you know, it's January and not winter, not December anymore. Yeah, we shall see. But I have time, and I really enjoy it so far. So let's see how long I manage to read until I need a break. I have moved to the floor real quick because I am way too lazy and I couldn't be bothered to move over to the other corner to set up my setup. But I do want to make a quick update about the book. I'm now roughly at page 200 or something. Yeah, almost at page 200. Things have been happening and I'm still so very entertained by it. I really think I could just go on today. It is, in a sense, a very fast-paced book. Like, there's no time where nothing happens, kind of. It's always filled with very relevant stuff to the plot, and I really enjoy that. Nothing is repetitive, even though Emily does research about this one single topic, which I think might have been my fear, really, that it will just be rinse and repeat, kind of, just with different angles, and it will be very soft and very sweet, which is nothing bad per se, but I think I get bored easily, so I need a lot of things that keep happening. But I keep being surprised, honestly. It is very cozy, it's also very sweet and very, very charming, but it also had some very surprisingly dark scenes already, and I did not expect that. Okay, so where am I in the story? They made some sort of breakthroughs in their research, and with they I mean Emily and Bumblebee. They have found something that has been mentioned in a lot of fairy tales, and things kept unfolding after this. So now Emily and Bumblebee are out and about trying to solve this issue that has aroused in this village by the townsfolk, and they are, you know, out and about together in the wilderness and stuff like that, and it's so very interesting. I just love Bumblebee so much. I would have never guessed that I would like him so much, even though it's very much up my typical, you know, interest in characters, kind of, or male characters, because he is flamboyant, as I've said before. He seems lazy and a little useless, but he's quite the opposite. He has some very, very surprising aspects about himself. One of these aspects we very much learn in the beginning, and it's also, you know, said in the synopsis that she wants to find out who he really is. And I'm at the point that I already know, or like think I know, that he is something special or someone special. And yeah, he still keeps surprising me, and he keeps surprising Emily, and it's just so sweet, honestly. I also am still so very much in love with how the fairies and everything magical in this book is portrayed, because I feel like it's really so real, kind of. It's not over the top, and that's really goes hand in hand with folklore, and it really much reminds me of the fairies in The Cruel Prince, which were also kind of real, you know, in a sense. And they just have a lot of overlapping themes, and I really like that. They really just take actual inspiration from actual folklore, and I'm really, really into that. I can't say this enough. So it's so interesting, honestly. And it really feels like I'm reading some sort of research book with some, you know, extra editions, and so far I really have nothing to complain about. Like I'm genuinely just very entertained, just very happy with like the story, with the characters, with everything, with the atmosphere. It has a very, very, very nice way of describing the surroundings and the situation and how the characters are feeling, and I really think the prose is so gorgeous. It is not over the top academic, which I think I wouldn't have liked. I hope it stays the way. So we shall see where the story will be heading so far. And I'm also very excited what else we could find out about Bumblebee, or if his plot, because he has his own plot. There are so many things going on that I really also enjoy. I have no idea what the other two books, two books I think, are about. So I'm not sure if any of the plot lines will be resolved in this book, which might annoy me if we get there. But we shall see how it will be set up. I am very sure, or very hopeful, that I will just like it until the end, because right now I don't know, I can't say anything bad about it, and it's right now at least a 5-star for me, which is a great start into the year, considering how unlucky I was last year with the books I was reading. So yeah, I'm gonna continue after a break. It's also already getting dark a little, so I'm not sure how the filming will go with the lights. Well, I will see about this. I will take a little break, and then I will get back to reading. I have actually managed to finish Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries, which I'm very surprised by. I must admit, I have struggled a little with the last 20 or so pages, and it has taken me longer than I have expected. It's by now completely dark. It's, I think, 20:30, which is honestly really, really late for me and to read and for my concentration, which is why I'm so surprised that I have actually managed to finish it in one day, or like almost in one day. I still think the story was very, very charming. It was a very nice read. I really liked the ideas that Heather Fawcett put into this book. I really liked the characters. They were all so nice and so sweet, and you know, sweet in their own way, kind of. And I really liked where the plot was taken. I honestly did not expect the last 50 pages to happen this way. I don't know what I expected, but not that. What I loved the most was obviously Emily's and Bumblebee's relationship. They were really sweet with each other, and when they got closer, which they obviously would get, you know, that's kind of the premise, you know, that they would get closer and that she has to open her heart. I was really touched at how this worked, even though it was so surprising how it unfolded, kind of. But these two characters really work so well with each other, and I was so happy with them all the time. They have such fun banter with each other, and I also really like how they are so different from each other and still they just fit well together. And until the end I also still very much enjoyed the fairy lore that we got, and honestly I would read a proper encyclopedia in this world about fairies. Maybe there is even already something like this published. I have no idea, I have to check. But I would read this even as a tiny little novella and just like hard facts basically. Or honestly also her paper, or like their paper. I don't know, it's super interesting. Anyway, I don't know how I will rate this book yet. It's a minimum of 4 stars, maybe even 5. I'm not so sure yet. I did not have so much time to really think about the book, to let the information that I've gathered all over the day settle in well. So I will think about it, and maybe I will just pop the right number of stars somewhere here in the video once I'm editing this. But it was a really fun read and a very, very, very strong and nice start to the year, well, to the reading year. And I'm very happy about that. It sets a nice tone. It was also a very good choice with the winter scenery, and I'm looking forward to reading the other two books, or how many there will be, if maybe there will be even more. I don't know. I tried to go in as blind as possible, which was a good choice. But now I will finally get some dinner. I luckily prepared some lentil soup last night, and I still have some leftovers, so I will just heat this up, luckily, because it's already late. And then I will just take it easy, because I'm really tired after reading all day. So I will see you next time in another video very soon. Goodbye.